Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome on into the Sporty Show. A pleasure to have you here as always, and what a busy weekend it was. I am Sara, joined by the one and only Klinton.
A lot to speak about today, man. Guys, you know, whenever I put on a suit, whenever I say I want to be like Alex Ashmore, be ready because today is going to be You know what I always say? Wait, why am I screaming? Right.
Why are you screaming, actually?
Wait. There you go, the boy. Last I don't smoke Igbo. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, they've introduced me, it's your boy Klinton, called as usual. And right here is... Oh, the camera is on him already. I was going to make you a surprise. Like, what if it was someone else, though? Like, fam, it's Alex Ashmore. Alex, what's up? What are you saying, brother? You good?
Still me. I have no surprises, unfortunately. I'm good. I'm good.
No surprises. No surprises. Yes, guys, a busy weekend it was. Unfortunately, Gary claims that he's having internet issues, but I think he doesn't want to get roasted because of what happened to Arsenal this weekend. We will get to that. Stay in. Don't even know what I was trying to say there, guys. Completely lost my mind. All right.
Let me help you before you want to help them stay anywhere. Before they stay, they have to pay rent, though. Nothing is free. But then again, the reason why Gary gave that excuse, you guys know what happened, right? But we are going to go into it. No matter, listen, there's nowhere to run. Gary, we are going to dismantle you and your Arsenal. We are coming. We are coming. That's how Ghanaians lie. When they know they can't fix anything, they will tell you it's either they don't have light in their country. Ghana, they have 24 hours electricity. If you were in Nigeria, I would understand. In Nigeria, yes, you know, our light comes like a British relationship. 1 minute they shoot for you, the next minute they are not there. Right. Oh, wait. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, guys. Right after the show, we have La Liga Hypermotion with Albacete taking on Burgos, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Let's get into it. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 1. Alex Ashmore, you have a lot to say about this game. There were controversial refereeing calls. There was a penalty. We saw Nicholas Jackson score a goal. I brought him up this time, not Klinton, because I had to. But, Alex, where do we start with this one?
It was a fantastic game of football, I think. For the neutral, really entertaining end-to-end. Both teams had opportunities. I think both teams played well. I think in terms of football, it was, you couldn't have asked for much else. You know, it was, as the neutral, yes, you want to see the correct decisions made, but it had entertainment, it had drama, and at the end of the day, the better team won. I think Liverpool deserved the win. Yes, there was perhaps a penalty shout that Chelsea could have had where Sancho got stood on, but there was also a penalty shout where Sara got fouled twice by Colwill. I think it was a good game. Enzo Maresca making a slight excuse at the end of the game, saying that sometimes he thinks the refereeing decisions are because of the noise of the crowd. I think, you know, there's no other way of putting it. That's a load of rubbish. I think, you know, if that was the case, Liverpool would always get favourable decisions. Leeds would get favourable at United, and so on and so forth. So I think I can understand in the heat of the moment he's frustrated, but I think definitely Chelsea showed signs of promise, and I think they played well. They didn't get outplayed. Liverpool, I think, could have done better. I think a better team perhaps would have gotten a result against Liverpool. I think they were, you know, beatable on the day, but they did what they had to do and extended their lead at the top of the table.
Klinton, was that a penalty?
Which of them? This is the one that was given, or the one?
The one that was given to Curtis Jones.
I personally think that was slightly harsh. Obviously, it happened the next day when, was it Manchester City versus, oh, sorry, the previous day, Manchester City versus...
Wolves. That wasn't the game you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about the Arsenal game. Sorry.
Game,
Arsenal. Yeah. So Arsenal played against, what's it called?
Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth. And exactly the same thing happened, and Saliba got a red card for it, right? I just feel like sometimes there just needs to be some level of consistency. I understand that people give different reasons. Some of them said distance here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like there just needs to be some level of consistency so people don't continue judging to feel like they've been cheated. Now, was he a penalty? Like I said, I think he was the last man. And what else would you expect? I don't know, man. That's a very difficult one.
Alex, you felt a little bit shafted here as a Chelsea fan. I think when I was speaking to you last night, there were a couple calls that you thought maybe could have been in the direction of the Blues.
I think looking at it from a neutral point of view, yes, but there were also a few calls that could have gone in Liverpool's way that didn't. I think the penalty that Liverpool got, I think, was a penalty. You could clearly see Colwill take away Curtis Jones's legs. Yes, it wasn't the biggest of kicks, but he still didn't make contact with the ball. I think they made the right decision with VAR overturning the second penalty shout where Curtis Jones got tackled by Robert Sanchez. He got the ball, and then Curtis Jones just, I think the cartwheel made it seem a little bit worse than it actually was. And then, like I said, Colwill, I think he perhaps could have had a penalty given against him when he fouled Sara. Sancho got stood on by Trent, potentially a penalty. Some people could say it was soft. I think at the end of the day, the referee didn't have a very good game. I think there were decisions that could have gone either way for both sides. I think, perhaps, and, going off what Klinton said, the issue, the bit where Tosin Adorabioyo took down Diego Jota.
That's the one I was actually talking about. Sorry.
I know.
You look at the comparison, and this is also something, I'm not going to claim, I'm not going to be claiming it's unfair or saying the refs had an awful game and Chelsea should have won. But like Klinton said, there has to be some sort of consistency. You look at the one where William Saliba took down Evan Nilsson against Bournemouth, and you look at the Tosin Adorabioyo situation, there's not much difference in it. Yes, Ben White, I think it is the nearest defender to William Saliba. He's a little bit further away than I think it was. I can't remember, trying to remember who the defender was that was close to Tosin. Whoever it was, I think it could have been Malagusto or Colwill, and probably Colwill. But when you look at that red card that Saliba got, it is last man, so yes, it was a red card. And then you look at the one that Tosin Adorabioyo got, he was given a yellow card, but it was also last man. If it's last man, give them the red card. Don't say, well, it's last man, but there was a defender nearby, he could have caught up with him. Everyone's arguing about the fact that Ben White and who would have won in a foot race, Evan Nilsson or Ben White. You've also got to take into account that he's going to take the ball, he's got to control it, he's got to line up a shot. It's still a last man goal scoring opportunity. Send him off, be consistent. Gravenberch, he stopped a free kick from happening. He kicked the ball away. He wasted time. No booking. Declan Rice gets sent off for it. Trossard gets sent off for it. There's just no consistency whatsoever from the referees. And as well, when you look at the VAR, it's, there are rules that they follow. Some of the rules should be changed, and I feel like it's silly to have to say this, but, it's been... The refereeing quality in England has been going downhill for a while now, and I think we're starting to see a lot more inconsistency in the Premier League, and it's tarnishing the game because, Sepp Blatter once said it. He said, people want to go to pubs and bars and argue about wrong decisions. No, we want to go to bars and argue about football games that were fun, equal, where, it was entertaining end to end, not because the referee made a bad decision and you got robbed. We'll come on to Man City later, and that's a whole different kettle of fish. But it's a shambles at the moment, to be honest. It's
week in and week out, too. And I will say for Arsenal fans and for Mikel Arteta, I do think they are getting a little bit of the short end of the stick. As you mentioned, Trossard, Declan Rice, we saw Saliba. Not that those cards weren't necessarily deserved, but that other teams are doing the exact same things. And yet Arsenal's the only one that's getting penalized, as well as, moving to the Arsenal game really quickly, when that decision was made, the referee changed his mind on the pitch and then retracted him changing his mind. So it was a yellow, then it was a red. And, I can understand the frustration Mikel Arteta would have had. If it were you, you'd be like, at least just, make the firm decision, make the call. But I will say, even though Arsenal were outplayed yesterday by Bournemouth, or 2 days ago now, rather, they have been getting a couple, I feel like last year, I remember Liverpool getting several calls against them, and now I feel like Arsenal is getting several calls against them when other teams are doing the same thing. And it is frustrating. And even myself, I'm not supporting anyone in the Premier League, but it's quite obvious to me that I think, there's one team that it's kind of affecting more than others.
I also see when you get these decisions like Saliba, I would imagine, and I'm not in the referee's head, I don't know what he's thinking, but I would imagine he would have thought, if a situation like that's happened, I don't know whether I'm going to send him off. Before the game, he's thinking, what if a Saliba situation happens again? If you, for example, you have a sending off in the first minute, the referee is perhaps then more likely to give a sending off to the other team in the 80th minute to balance things out. No, make the right decision at the right time based on the facts, use the VAR. Don't make decisions to balance it out because you think, oh, yesterday I don't think it was a red card. I will give a red card today. I'm going to give a yellow card tomorrow. The rules say it's a red card. Send him off. I'm not even going to get into how bad Tosin Adorabioyo was, but
Each game is its own game. You know what I mean? Don't bring anything into previous games. Like, if that means you're giving a red card every single game, but it's warranted,
It's fair.
then give a red card every. Yeah.
It's like
absolutely.
they say, don't send someone off in the first 30 seconds because it's too early. Why? Do the rules not apply in
Well,
the first 30 seconds? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but then again, I think we need to still give credit to Chelsea, you know?
Yeah, for
Because,
sure,
I
go
mean,
for it.
from where Chelsea has started to where they are now, and thinking about how they play Liverpool, I feel like, you know, we've got to give credit to them. Chelsea, they've literally been solid. I can't lie to you. When we're doing our predictions for this game, I don't know who...
I have them top 4.
well, you have them
I
top
had
4.
Chelsea top 4. Come on.
But what I'm saying here is Chelsea, they've done really well within a very short period of time.
Yep.
You know, there've been some kind of solidity that's come with the team, and them playing Liverpool the way they played. Personally, I wasn't surprised because that's Chelsea. Chelsea, they would always turn up, you know, in big games, and the fact that they have a new manager who has literally been shaping the whole team, and seeing how they played Liverpool, I feel like a 2-1 was a very good score. I think it ended well. They fought a very good fight, and you could clearly see that the Chelsea we see now is not the usual Chelsea. The only person I was very concerned about yesterday was Cole Palmer, who I felt like, you know, obviously, with all the exploits he's been doing lately, we're thinking, okay, he's going to bring out that beast mode in Liverpool, and he's maybe, I'm not expecting you to score a goal, but at least just do give us some kind of good game. But it was almost like he ghosted. You know, he wasn't really the Cole Palmer we knew. There was just something that wasn't working. It wasn't just, you know, clicking for Cole Palmer in that game. Now, I'm not going to judge him just based off on that one game, because at the end of the day, he's been doing it in several games, right? And this is where I have issues with fans. I went on social media and I was just seeing people bashing Cole Palmer, trying to make all these images as to Cole Palmer before the game, Cole Palmer after the game. And you're like, wait, this man has literally been the man that everyone has spoken about, not just for Chelsea, actually for England. You know, he's one of the best young talents. He won, was it the best? He won something recently, right?
I think was he best young?
Yeah, I
was
think
he was
something for
nominated
England.
for best young player of the year.
No, he did win something though. No, he did win. I'm 100% sure he did. Please, guys on social media, YouTube, just let me know what he won. But I know he definitely did win something. And for him to have ghosted in one game and people are penalising him to say, oh yeah, Cole Palmer, look at. You know, I think it's not right. Chelsea put up a very good fight. It was a 2-1 defeat. It wasn't like a 4-5-1, something that would scream that you were rubbish. You know, they were quite good. They put up a very good fight. And I think that's all that matters. If they face a team that's not as good as Liverpool next time, they will still continue turning up as usual.
I think also it makes you realise how bad Chelsea are when, and you know, yes, Chelsea played well, but they were definitely short of the mark. When Cole Palmer's not on fire, they look a completely different team.
Yeah.
I think the only players going forward that offered any positivity were, I thought Sancho was awful.
Actually, he was, yes.
I thought, you know, Nicholas Jackson played well, perhaps didn't get the service he needed.
Nicholas Jackson, though, let's talk about him just before you continue with that list.
The best English player of the year.
Yeah. Now, that run from Nicholas Jackson, it made me feel like my man is becoming really matured.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I saw the angle.
Good finish as well.
No, it wasn't good finish. I was listen. You know, people think I hate Nicholas Jackson, but they don't understand. I'm telling you that when I see this guy being what I believe he should be, you see how happy I am, though. And this is what I feel like Mikel Obi was trying to get out of him as well, right? When people think that when you criticize a player, it means you hate him. No, you don't hate him. You're just trying to make him be better. You want to see him play to his full potential. And this is where I feel like Nicholas Jackson, this is where he's heading at right now. That run, for him to think, okay, that pass, was it the guy from Brighton that gave that pass?
Caicedo.
Yeah, Caicedo. You know, Caicedo, I would expect him to give such a pass. You know, he's done even better passes. But that one, he did it. And for Cole Palmer,
Nicholas Jackson,
Jesus Christ. For him to know and get that run and score the goal at the same time, that was very good. But yeah, continue with the players.
No, I think Nicholas Jackson I was impressed with. I think, yeah, lacked service perhaps. I was really impressed with Caicedo. I thought he played well in that midfield. I was impressed with what I saw from Romeo Lavia. I think the plan was anyway to play him for only the time that they played him, just to bring it back to, you know, match sharpness. Nano Madueke, still very raw, I think, as a player. Brilliant potential. I think he's got good pace. He runs at defenders really well, but I didn't see him at his best yesterday. I thought the players that came on, I thought Neto was lively. I thought he offered a lot going forward, but the defence.
I'm not still satisfied with Neto. You know.
I think he played well, but I think for the opportunities he's getting, I think he needs a longer run of games in the first team. I think he needs that consistency. He was lively, he offered a lot, but if I look at the defence, I'm not sure why Reece James was starting. I think coming back off such a long layoff to start him in a game like this, yes, options at the back I think we were short at the back, injuries obviously, but I think when you look at, he was disappointing. I think he up against Luis Diaz in the second half. He would have been up against Luis Diaz, in the second half. You know, coming up against Salah, you look at the left-hand side, Malo Gusto, I thought was very short of the mark. Levi Colwill, I think, was rash as well. He looked like he was a little bit in his own head. And
yeah, you know, he was making poor decisions.
I look at Tosin Adorabioyo, who was awful. I think he had one of the worst games I've ever seen from a Chelsea centre-back in one of these games. Badiashile, actually, I'm usually very critical of Badiashile, but he actually played well, apart from seeming to push Darwin Núñez to the floor, which I didn't really understand. But when I look at this Chelsea defence, it's lacking a lot. And I think when you take out Fofana, who I'm still not overly impressed with, Levi Colwill's the only one in there that I think really shows promise. I think Disasi, not a fan of. I think Renato Vega is a good player. I think there is a potential in there. But there's a lot of problems with this Chelsea defence.
It's so funny you naming all these Chelsea players because it's like, oh, we have 50 players, you know, on this team, but none of them are good enough still. Alex, because of this loss, though, Chelsea now dropped to 6th. They're only a couple points behind. They have 14 points. Aston Villa beat Fulham, so they're bumped into 4th. Brighton beat Newcastle, so they're now in 5th. But is it a bit sour getting pushed out of the top 4 because this was obviously such a difficult and controversial match?
No, I think it's just a wake-up call is the wrong, maybe I think a realisation for Chelsea fans. I think it's a good thing. It levels our expectations. When we might get top 4, I really don't think we're going to get top 4. We're not good enough consistently against the big sides. I think this result will show us that there are still a lot of things to be improved on, and I think Enzo Maresca will know this. He said it in his press conference. He was impressed, but he's disappointed with the result. He knows that there are things that they can improve on. But I think it's good for Chelsea fans to level the expectations, because at the end of the day, the squad isn't good enough. The quality isn't there to compete week in, week out for top 4 against the big 6, so-called big 6.
Yep.
I think Chelsea need another year or 2 before they're competing for top 4 and titles.
Do you reckon that take away Cole Palmer out of this current Chelsea? And this question is not just for you, it's obviously for our viewers as well. Take away Cole Palmer out of this Chelsea, do you think they will be the Chelsea that you see now? No.
I mean, you saw them yesterday. Cole Palmer wasn't at the races, and they were, I think, wasteful in that final third. Yes, they created opportunities, but Jadon Sancho, he was jockeying the defender. He made Trent look like Cafu. And, you know, Trent is a good defender, but he's not the best defensive.
Jadon Sancho was in Trent's pocket along with Cole.
Jadon Sancho made Trent look like the best defender there's ever been. And he wasn't offering anything. He was jockeying the runner. He was trying to go in and out. He wasn't going forward. He wasn't taking on the run. He looked, and understandably so, he looked a lot. He was lacking in confidence. And I think when you take into account, you know, the path he's been on over the last 18 months, it's understandable. I think he needs time to get back to his best. But without Cole Palmer, Chelsea do look a lot worse, and they look short in quite a lot of the departments going forward. It means that Nicholas Jackson doesn't get the service he needs. He looks isolated up top on his own. Moises Caicedo, who is usually a defensive midfielder, is playing those further forward passes further forward, but then leaving gaps at the back. You see the ball through for Curtis Jones where Robert Sanchez tackled him. I'm not sure where the defence was. I think they're on holiday. There was about a 5-metre gap between the 2 centre-backs on numerous occasions. I think it's good because it shows, not only it shows Enzo Maresca, but it shows, I think, people at the club that this project isn't finished yet and there's still a lot of improvement to be done. That doesn't mean go out and spend 600 million on players that you think are good because someone said, oh, he looks good, I'm going to spend 25 million on him. Be sensible about it. Use the players you've got. Yes, bring in players, but still a long way to go.
Well, let's see. Chelsea are taking on Panathinaikos midweek in the Europa Conference League, and then they play Newcastle back-to-back, one in the Prem, one in the cup, and then it's Manchester United. So big games coming up for Chelsea. Speaking of Manchester United, I got it all wrong this weekend looking at Brentford, and Erik ten Hag's position is saved for one more week because Manchester United did, in fact, beat Brentford after going down 1-0. And oh my God, Nacho, what a goal that was. Good for him. But Klinton, talk to me a little bit, because I was telling you off air, yes, United won, and for the players especially, that's a good confidence boost. You know, it was a better game than maybe some we'd seen, but does this also kind of scare you, because it also means that, well, Ten Hag will probably be here for a little bit longer?
Well, I mean, you see, first of all, I've been a very big supporter of Ten Hag keeping his job only because, you know, I just want him to feed his family. You know?
Oh,
I feel like, no, I mean, I feel like, you know, times are rough, like things are bad, and I just feel sad just watching people lose their job. You know, I just want him to, yeah. If it means that everybody will call for your head and boom, you win one, he extends your paycheck by a week. Fam, I'm happy for you, man. The thing that was just no, yeah, well, okay, whatever.
Okay, talk to me about the football. Come on.
No, I see. Listen, there's no much to speak about. You know, when we're doing our predictions here, I did say that. I mean, we were quite scared. I mean, you in particular, you said Brentford was going to beat us, and I'm just happy to see that they went to Old Trafford and. Brentford had a loss, you know, in Old Trafford, because I wonder what the conversation would have been now. United won, and listen, Mackinday, don't piss me off. It wasn't miraculous, you know. We won the game proper. You know, I'm happy because I watched the game, watching how they played. There was Brentford, they first scored.
Yes. Yeah. We were together for that one.
And when that goal came in, I was like, damn, man, like this is actually a curse at this point. It's not even about the coach. It wasn't about, you know, the stadium. It's not about, at this point, I felt like it was a curse. And the fact that Manchester United were able to put themselves together, come back and still win the game, I think that was just, I was super happy, you know. And I'm just hoping, it's even hard to say you're hoping because 1 minute Manchester, they are playing like Manchester. Next minute, they are playing like Cambridge. Like, I'm just hoping that this would continue. And I'm not saying even the gameplay. It's just, I don't care how you play at this point in time. You might play all the rubbish on the pitch, but you just come back with a win. Let Manchester United be the Manchester United we used to know. Let them copy Chelsea, copy Arsenal. At some point, what we speak about Manchester United today is exactly what we speak about Arsenal. And it's almost seeming like Manchester United one is taking a whole long, you know, streak of uncertainty, you know. So, yeah, it was a very good win, and let's hope it does continue. I don't want to speak much about Manchester United. It feels like the more I speak, the more they disappoint me. So let me just calm down on them, take it easy. Let's just continue winning.
I think the thing is with United is we can't ever trust it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
even though they have the win,
yeah.
playing Fenerbahce in a couple of days, Europa League, you know, the FC Twente held Manchester United, if you guys remember, in the Europa League. And now Fenerbahce, that's a big opponent
Mourinho.
now. Like, that's and you were saying you were hoping it was coming.
It would have been amazing if it was Old Trafford. To be honest, I think it would be a tough game. Mourinho always sets his sides up to play well in Europe, in domestic football as well. I think it will be, potentially, it could be embarrassing for Manchester United. I know they'll want to use the momentum from the win against Brentford, but I don't think there'll be anyone more motivated to win on Thursday night than Mourinho.
It's not someone you want to go up against. Not someone who likes to hold grudges too, and we know Mourinho does. All right, let's move on then. Arsenal got absolutely smoked by Bournemouth, 2-0. William Saliba off with a red card. We kind of spoke about that, but I mean, Miguel Merino should have scored probably 3 on his own here in this one. What is the problem with Arsenal, Alex? Like, why does this seem like it's going to happen again? I know it's November. It's not even November. Pardon me. It's October. I gotta not get ahead of myself. But why does it already feel like Arsenal are doing what Arsenal does? And they're gonna probably finish like 2nd or 3rd, and they might make a great run in the Champions League. But again, we're unsure about the side.
Yeah, I think it makes you realise perhaps that Odegaard and Odegaard Prince mainly being out is a big miss for Arsenal. I think he's key linking that midfield to attack. I think him not being there, you can really see that gap But I think we also have to give credit to Bournemouth. I think the way that Iraola sets up his sides at home or away, I think they play a nice brand of football. In the first half, yes, they weren't quite reaching the levels they wanted to in that final third, but I think they played well. I think Arteta said it as well. To go down to 10 men with an hour to go, it makes you perceive the game in a different way. And I think the way that it could have gone, perhaps if Arsenal still had 11 men, it could have been completely different. But you've got to take it for what it is at face value. And I think that Bournemouth played well. They took their opportunities. I think Arsenal were spread thin. I think when you look at defending for an hour or more with 10 men can be a tough job, no matter who you're against. And I think when you go down to a decision as well like that perhaps you can feel aggrieved by, it makes it even harder. And I think it is a difficult one for me. I think it is a blip. I think Arsenal are a very good team, and I've been very impressed with them this season. But I think perhaps maybe not a wake-up call, but a lesson learned for Arteta, that perhaps maybe there is a gap in that team that they need to fill, and perhaps someone they need to look at bringing in the January transfer window. I think, yes, Havertz is fantastic when he's on form. He was quiet on Saturday night, on Friday. I can't remember. It feels like a long time ago now.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. He was quiet. And I think when you look at the goals, apart from Havertz, I struggle to see where they come from. I think, yes, Saka being back will be a big plus. I think not having him was a big miss as well. Sterling's well short of the mark. I think he's been disappointing for Arsenal so far this season. But, I think it perhaps shows Arteta that they do need maybe one or two more pieces to their chessboard before they can compete with Man City for a title come the end of the season.
Well, let's see if they can learn their lesson. I just want to Klinton really quickly. This is Arsenal's upcoming schedule. They're playing Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League tomorrow. Then they welcome Liverpool to Emirates next weekend. Preston in the Cup, Newcastle at St. James's, Inter at San Siro, Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The next 6 matches for Arsenal, I mean, maybe besides
apart from
EFL Preston, but that's also going to be a heavily rotated side. But this schedule is going to beat this side up, especially if they already have some, knocks and injuries.
Firstly, let me just take us back to Manchester United. No, wait. The goal that Brentford scored, do you guys remember that we were playing 10 men at the point when they scored?
Matthias de Ligt whacked his head.
Yeah, exactly. And he was outside. I don't know if you guys saw the video of his reaction when they scored us. Because this video was on social media.
We were all together post-footy watching this match.
Sorry, who was all together?
We were all sat.
Literally sat together.
Where?
Okay, you're old.
Wow. But anyways, I just
It's been 48 hours since then.
I mean, that's true, Hey, that's true,
Realization
Okay, yes, no. Yeah, we're all together watching. Oh, man, God, hope this is not dementia. I reject it. Okay, right, no.
I don't think that will help smacking your head.
It has to at this point, man. No, but for real, though, real, they scored us with 10 men. So, Brentford, I literally just remember that it was against 10. So, categorically, they didn't really score us, on a normal whatever. It wasn't that we got a red card. The only red was the blood that came out from, what's his name? But anyways, yeah, we've gone past Manchester. Now, let's come to Arsenal, right? I feel really bad, for Arsenal, just knowing where they are currently, especially in the Premier League. Yeah, a loss to Bournemouth. I'm not shocked. The truth is, Bournemouth, they are not that kind of team that you can say, you're not that good. Like, say, Leicester, even they won their last game. But, I'm putting Leicester, the rest of Bournemouth, they are a very good team. And I don't understand why. What's happening with Bukayo Saka? Where is he?
He was injured.
He was injured, right? Okay. So I guess, these are the issues. Martinelli was on that game.
But, like you said, he's injured. It shows what they miss when him and Odegaard
Absolutely.
aren't playing.
No, 100%. And these are literally the two backbones. When it comes to the wing side, you're talking about Bukayo Saka being the best for Arsenal. When you talk about the midfield, Martin Odegaard is not there. And for me, Martin Odegaard is as good as being the Kevin De Bruyne of Arsenal. because you could clearly see. Sorry?
Engine.
Yeah, the engine room of the club. And if you don't have them, I just feel like you are going to be in for a surprise. And that's exactly what's happened to them. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for the fact that Saliba was taken out. Obviously, he did commit an offense that was red cardable.
Cardable.
Yeah, like we said, there was not too much consistency, especially when it happened to Chelsea. But then again, I think it's a lesson for Arteta, and hopefully, this next couple of games are a very tough one. The only game I see them easily winning is the one against Preston. Preston, I'm sure that if we come together like we always do to go play, we might get a draw with Preston. So if Arsenal, they are not able to do something crazy with that one, then there's going to be an issue. But sorry, Arsenal, man, I feel sad for them. A part of me actually want Arsenal to win the Premier League,
Markante says here, Arsenal fans felt they were entitled to the title because they came in second twice. Football is not played like that. Arsenal is the enemy of themselves. They put that pressure on themselves. Maybe could be a part of it, I mean, fan-wise, but I think especially when I'm thinking about, last season, it was the season before where it was like neck and neck, and Arsenal, it was the games that they lost. If they had won all their games that they were supposed to win, they would have won. They were ahead of City. They had it.
Absolutely.
But they lost those games, and City capitalized because City in the final third is City, as we know, because John Stones is going to come and score and win the game for you.
City, they are literally the Real Madrid of England. No, let's be sincere. No, but I feel that's what happens. No, hold on. Roll up, and let's start this one proper, yeah? Manchester City, they don't... Okay, I don't want to get somebody really upset about Real Madrid.
Say Markande.
Yes, it's going to just flood our stuff now. But through this, Manchester City, they're always that team that they are just, merely losing out on the game. And boom, from nowhere, they're celebrating a win. Just like what happened with Real Madrid. Real Madrid, they could play rubbish all through the game against a very little team, but somehow they come into the second half, let's say the final 70, 60, 80 minutes, boom, there are goals and they're winning. Manchester City, I just feel like somehow, it's not that they are not beatable. They are lacking two really strong guys on the team, Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne, right? And they are still winning games. Now, these games they win now, you could clearly tell that is to struggle. Fact is, anybody could beat Manchester City right now, but I can't wait for them to face, say, a team like...
Well, they played, it's actually interesting. Now I'm looking back on who they played. So they played Inter, remember the first match? And they had a really rotated squad because they played Arsenal over the weekend. And so they drew 0-0 to Inter in the Champions League. Then they drew 2-2 to Arsenal. They drew 1-1 to Newcastle. So actually, Klinton might be onto something. The only thing I would say is different here is that City are missing their two best players.
No, absolutely. And
but
we
also,
have to give it to them for that one.
Even with Real Madrid, even if you don't, I agree, there's something with this team that I still don't think is clicking.
No, it's not.
But there's still two teams where they will fight until the end.
Yeah.
But
something is just magical. That's a proper no be juju be that. They would somehow they would always win.
But City also, I feel goes through these slumps, especially post-holiday break. And then March comes, and they're just an absolute tank.
Yeah, the only difference...
This is not the time.
The only difference, I will tell you, between Manchester City and Real Madrid is the fact that with Real Madrid, even when they have all the best players in the team, they still show you that lack of... especially when they're playing small teams, you'll be like, hang on, wait, is this a Real Madrid where you have this front four, you have this kind of midfield, and you have this kind of defense? What is going on? With Manchester City, you could see that, okay, they are falling short only because they don't have their two best players who are literally miracle workers. Kevin De Bruyne would always look... Somebody did mention, he said, without Kevin De Bruyne, there's no Haaland, which, to a certain extent, we can agree with that one, right? But you can say, okay, the reason why you're not performing to the level that we know you for is only because you don't have these two key players. With Real Madrid, on the other hand, they have everybody, and they're still playing like they could still lose the game. But then somehow, Juju comes in, they win it.
Juju?
No, I mean, let's be sincere. Look at most of the games we watch.
John
okay,
Stones.
I don't know about previous season. Let's not talk about Madrid. But this season in particular, I can tell you that I cannot wait for this El Clasico. Because this El Clasico, apart from Atletico Madrid, who have been the first proper team that have faced Real Madrid this season, and they got a draw out of it, Barcelona will be a proof to know if this Real Madrid is the Real Madrid people think it is, and I can't wait for it.
Well, I mean, they got to take on Dortmund tomorrow, one step at a time here. Let's not forget that.
That's true.
They lost to Lille, actually, if you remember, and they struggled against Stuttgart.
Real Madrid lost a game in the Champions League already?
Where have you been, man?
I told you.
Klinton, this is concerning. This is concerning.
You're
A
winding us up,
Canadian
aren't you?
scored on Real Madrid.
That's true.
It was a
actually,
whole
yes.
thing.
That's true. Fam, did you know how many games it's been, though? Do you know how many games I watched in a day?
Yeah.
I watched
One,
the
by
Mexican.
the looks of it.
I watched the Mexican league. Like that's why I'm beginning to confuse.
Liga MX.
I watched the Filipino. You know the ones.
What?
You know the K League as well. Yes, exactly.
That's not
Who's top of the
Filipino.
Mexican league then?
No, I'm sorry.
Who's top of the Mexican league? You say you watched the Mexican league.
Come on, it's El Chapo. It's El Chapo. Come on, man. You think I don't know him?
Somewhere
dear.
Oscar is
Oh.
screaming at a TV for
Yeah.
sure. Okay, back to football here, guys. Let's talk about Real Madrid. Let's move along into La Liga because they, in fact, did beat Celta Vigo. But like Klinton mentioned, it wasn't an easy job, although the goals in this match were tasty for sure. We saw Mbappe with a screamer there. But Alex, your thoughts on this one ahead of a very busy week for Real Madrid?
Yeah, I think it was an all right performance. I think they played well. I think, Mbappe's goal, what a goal that was.
Really nice, really nice.
I think for him and for Real Madrid, I think nice to see him, taking those sort of chances and taking those sort of risks because we know that's the sort of player he likes to be. He can take those long shots, pull off these skills, and I think they had their chances, but Celta Vigo I think had their chances as well. I think Real Madrid have got to thank Thibaut Courtois
That
for
one of the
having.
big.
Thibaut Courtois had a brilliant game and made some fantastic saves to keep Celta Vigo out. I think had there been some better finishing from the Galician side, I think they could have even got a win. But credit to the Belgian goalkeeper, he's fantastic. I think Real Madrid, I guess you could say in that phrasal way of they did what they needed to do. They got there, they got the 2 goals, they got the win, they went home happy. I think they had their chances as well. Like I said, it wasn't just the 2 goals. I don't think it was anything miraculous, but a win is a win. 3 points, keep the pressure on Barcelona. Going into a really important week against Dortmund and Barcelona, where if you hadn't have won, the pressure really turns up, the heat turns up, and I think Ancelotti was saying it today, he knows that they're not 100%, but, they're improving, and I think you talk about the role that Bellingham was playing, I think I'd like to see him back more, getting involved with the attack, because I think he does a brilliant job defensively, but his goals, I think Real Madrid are missing his goals. He scored, I can't remember how many at this point he'd scored last season, but he was almost reaching double figures by this point. So, yeah, to have him back in a more attacking position or more involved with the attack, I think would be good for Ancelotti's men. But tomorrow will be the test. I think they'll get the job done over Dortmund. I don't think Dortmund have been super impressive this season. I think Nuri Sahin still has some changes to make, but it'll be a good test ahead of what is the litmus test of can they win the league again? Barcelona on Saturday night.
I was at the Metropolitano yesterday for Atletico and Leganés, and I actually ran into some Dortmund fans. They had their jerseys on. They were ready for already midweek. Spoke to them a little bit, and they were saying, listen, we're not good in Bundesliga, but Champions League, this is what we do. And we have to remember last season in the Champions League, everyone had written Dortmund off, and then they ended up going to the semis. Yes, they lost to Madrid in the end, but it is something interesting. It is going to be difficult, I think, for Madrid, but they're definitely the favorites. They're at home. I think it's really good that both Barcelona and Real Madrid won this weekend because it's just adding all that fuel to this fire that we love called El Clasico. And this week is going to be a test for sure because they're both playing German sides, Dortmund, Barca, Bayern. This one's personal.
That one is That one is gladly I'm gonna be watching that game live and it's going to be my first El Clasico. To be honest, why am I speaking as if? Anyways,
Literally said Barca, Bayern, and you said you're going to be watching this
no,
one.
no. Well, sorry, is that what I said? I said
We're
Barca.
talking about.
We were talking about Barca and Bayern, and you went, no, go on. It's fine. Take
my
it, take
God.
it.
Like,
You have to
what's
be
going
quick
on
here.
here,
You have to
man?
be quick, man.
No. First of all, I'm just going to give credit to Kylian Mbappe for the goal he scored. I mean, I know you mentioned it earlier. Mbappe is somebody I've wanted to see shine in this Real Madrid. You know, the last couple. No, but
No, I'm sorry. I just read Marcante's comment.
right, okay.
It'll be difficult, but difficult's my middle name.
No, I'm happy with that Mbappe's goal, and you could clearly tell that maybe the confidence is coming back now. Mbappe, like 3-4 weeks ago, would not have the guts to take that kind of shot, but he knows what he's capable of, and he did try it, and he eventually got in. But I don't know why somebody's trying to compare Pedri's goal versus Mbappe's goal. Yeah, let me know.
We can talk a little bit about Barca because Gavi's back, and that is such a good addition for a game against Real Madrid because he's such a pest. He loves to go after the players, and he's also a very, a very diehard Barca player, coming from La Masia. But yeah, Barca. Well, you know what? Barca were fantastic, but Sevilla, my goodness,
Sevilla were poor.
Sevilla were shocking. Like,
Edrique, listen, can I tell you?
Speak to your friend.
Can I tell you what happened to Sevilla yesterday? Right. Truth is,
Was it Juju?
I mean, because there is Juju in Edrique, it doesn't mean it was Juju. Okay. Now, you could clearly tell that the moment this guy left the pitch from, that hiccup he had, which I felt really bad for him for, because you could clearly tell. I mean, I had a conversation with him. I'm just telling you guys for the first time. I did say to him that, yo, you owe me a goal. I wanted to score Barcelona because my co-host Sara, I want her to speak about the game with a very sad face. But, clearly you could see she's happy. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm not happy. I'm happy for Barcelona. I'm happy that they had a win just before they are coming to Madrid to face.
Hey, first Bayern Munich.
Well, I mean, El Clasico is the main one that
Yes.
I'm really focusing on at this point. But, yeah.
Someone said here, actually it was Markandé. Why am I saying someone? Oh, I just lost this comment. Did he delete it? He said, we have I have Courtois and Vinny, so I will beat Barca.
You know what the funny thing is? If we want to be sincere with ourselves, though, I think the keepers are not getting very big credit for what they do in games, especially Courtois. Courtois for Real Madrid, he's solid.
I mean, arguably, he's the best goalkeeper in the world.
I personally think he is. Listen, there are some kind of saves he does, and because let me put it this way: because of his height, I've watched him in the training, and Alex, but the both of you, who's even taller, yourself and Courtois?
Yeah.
You're taller than Courtois.
I've had the pleasure of standing next to him and chatting to him. It is eye to eye, but I am taller than him.
Oh damn, man, Alex, man, you really have a lot of flex. Jesus Christ. Nah, but with this kind of tall people, right, you would usually think that, there's an angle the ball gets to and it's just unreachable to them, right? But there's something about
He's got long legs, man.
He has the long legs, which he uses perfectly, that's one. Number two, his reflex is on point. Like, we speak about Valverde, we speak about Mbappe, we speak about Vinicius, but you don't speak much about this guy.
He doesn't get enough mention.
He doesn't get enough credit that he deserves. Courtois is literally one of the best. Listen, okay, so let me rate my best players, and this is something I want you guys to do before we get on the next game. Like, rate me your best three in Real Madrid, right? I will go first. Your best three in Real Madrid right now.
Okay.
Right? Think about yours. Mine, I'm literally going with Valverde as my number one. Number two, I'm going with Courtois as my number two. And my number three, I'm going with Jude Bellingham. The rest of them can go.
Oh!
Right, let me know you start with. But go on, who are your three best?
Are they fit players or injured?
No, fit players.
Okay.
I mean, I think my top two probably the same so far this season. I think my third is either between Bellingham or Rodrigo. I think Rodrigo's been one of the shining lights of those front three. I do think Vinny and Mbappe have been playing well. Yes, they can do a lot better.
You see, that's the problem with English people. Like, why do you have to now tell us the reason why you've not mentioned Mbappe? I just told you, give me your best three. Marking, I'm waiting for your one as well. Your best three for Real Madrid. If you're a Real Madrid fan, please do the same. We want to see what you think. Go on. Tell me, Sara.
Yeah, Fede is absolutely number one. I'm happy Courtois too, and I really like Rodrigo, but I also would, maybe we can give like an honorable mention, Luka Modric. For the age he is, though, he's the fact that they're still relying on him, and maybe this is because there are some players on this team that still aren't performing to their level, But Modric comes in and changes an entire game. And it's like, all right, you guys got to step up because at 38, come on.
Yeah,
What?
but I still feel like sometimes it turns up. Sometimes you could clearly tell that the age is getting on him.
For sure, but it's still like the fact that he still shines.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you have Mbappe and Vinny and Bellingham, like, come on. Honorable mention, but I'm happy. Like, Rodrigo is also one that I think is so overlooked. Someone here wrote, Kwasi said, no. So I keep losing where I am. Street Fighter said, what a moment, Gavi, with the captain armband. When he came on, they gave him the captain's band, and this was to any Barcelona fan. We all saw it, Xavi and Iniesta. This was football heritage. Like, it was really beautiful. The entire stadium blew up, and yeah, it was a lovely sight. I think whether you're a Barca fan or not, that was just something in football that you love to see. But yeah, they're coming to slowly. I mean, Brahim Diaz as well, also eligible for El Clasico.
Yeah, he's back on the training pitch today.
There you go. Both teams kind of coming back to full force, slowly but surely. But I mean, it's going to be.
I'm excited actually for Barca Bayern. I think that'll be a tough test for both
I'm
sides.
almost more like worried about Bayern than Real Madrid, based on what I'm seeing these two teams do.
I think it's I've used this phrase twice already today, and I feel like a broken record, but it is a litmus test for both sides. I think Bayern are top of the league, top of the Bundesliga. Harry Kane's on fire. He's got 3 hat-tricks already this season. Barcelona, top of La Liga, on fire, beating teams left, right and centre. Yes, barring the losses to Monaco and Osasuna, but they've been on fire. They've been the on-form team in Spain. But when you look at these two coming together, there's 2 really young teams, 2 really exciting teams, 2 really exciting managers. Vincent Kompany, who's got a lot to prove. Hansi Flick, who has come in and revitalised, just completely changed this Barcelona team compared to last season. They look like a completely new team. I think it'll be a really exciting game and a tough one for both teams.
Let's come back to what some of the guys are speaking regarding. I mean, I love the fact that Stanley said Valverde, and Valverde.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think he's not wrong. I also love that Markandé said, like Klinton said, Modric, Valverde,
which
and
I didn't
Courtois,
say.
which I said, but
Sarah
Markandé loves to hate me. So honestly, it's
No,
fine.
but hang on. Sarah didn't say that either, though. Sarah said that was an honorary mention. It wasn't like he got to your top
At least
3.
I'm the only one who said his name.
No, but he wasn't in your top 3.
This guy absolutely loves to just, yeah. Anyway.
And somebody said.
Somebody lost their whole mind.
Now, somebody said Arda Güler, Vini, and Lunin. Whatever weed you smoke, trust me, I want to try exactly that same one before I sleep tonight. Not that I do drugs or anything, but I just love the mood you are in.
I want to try it. Not that I do drugs or anything, but I want to try
I
it.
just want to try it a bit. Like, Bumi, what's going on? Where's Arda Güler? I mean, Vini, I understand, but wait, Lunin and Arda. All right. Okay.
All right, let's move along.
Okay.
Victor Boniface.
Poof! Victor Boniface. First of all, I thank God for your life. I thank God you're very much alive. And listen, we've heard this kind of story so many times. We come from a country where our road networks are not the best. And when you talk about accidents, these are like everyday, incidents. And people lose their lives. The only thing I want to say is, please, bro, thank God God's kept you and you're very much alive to post more memes on Twitter, which I always long to see. And there are still so many goals for you to score in Germany, in Europe as a whole. Remember, we spoke about the Ballon d'Or at some point, and even the African Player of the Year. These are the things I'm literally looking forward to you having eventually. Please be careful. I understand that you're very young and you want to you want to drive around, cruise around. I beg you, are a superstar, and there's so much you still need to do. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, guys, Victor Boniface got in an accident where the car was literally as good as useless. I think he was a write-off, and you could clearly see he was bleeding. He had a few injuries around himself, and yeah, he's doing well, and but yeah, I just hope he would just be careful and. Just be well, man. Hey, that scared me, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
really happy to hear.
That was scary, though.
Boniface checked in with you as well, and he is okay and fit to play. He scored over the weekend,
Oh,
big
yeah, I
win
mean, he missed the
against
penalty.
Frankfurt, but yeah.
But
scored
then
in
as
the end.
usual, he did it the Victor Boniface way.
Yeah.
Missed the penalty, you score. Because you know what he was probably thinking? Penalty, people will not really... Everybody scores penalty, right? I mean, well, the ones that want to score. But let me score a proper goal. And he scored and You know, that run, that run is the funniest stuff ever, man. I don't know why he does that. But still, I'm happy for him. He did score a goal and then caused an accident. And do you know what he said to me, though? He said, my village people think say they don't catch me. This is literally how he texted. He said, my village people. And I'm just glad that the village people were not able to get a visa to Germany. And, you know, he's alive and he's doing well. That's the most important stuff.
Yeah, really happy to hear about Victor Boniface, obviously. And, yeah, back in action hopefully on Wednesday against Brest in the Champions League. So warm wishes to Boniface and happy that you're doing well. All right, guys, let's preview this week a little bit because we're almost out of time. But tomorrow it will be Alex Ashmore and I here because Klinton Cod will be at the Santiago Bernabeu with Real Madrid and Dortmund, but we'll be checking in with him and seeing what the vibes are like. I'm sure it's, you know, a Tuesday night Champions League football match. Come on, it's going to be great. Wednesday, you two will be here. I will be at the Metropolitano finding my Canadian boy, John David, because they will be taking on Lille Atleti. And then this weekend, you both are at the Santiago Bernabeu for El Clasico.
El Clasico!
And will you get his name right? What is his name?
Lamine Yamal.
Beautiful.
Hey, everywhere. Hey, that's the Oga Bata of all the games we are talking about. That's the El Clasico. I can't wait for that one.
I always feel that when El Clasico comes, there are so many big games leading up to it. Like the fact that Madrid's playing Dortmund, the fact that Barca's playing Bayern, like there's Champions League in general. I think PSG's playing Arsenal. Like we have so many big games. No, they're not.
Woo, but you know the good thing.
Is PSG playing Arsenal this week?
No. Arsenal playing Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yeah. I said it and I knew it was wrong. I got too excited. I was just building up more games.
Oof, but listen, the reason why I can't wait for this Barcelona Bayern is the history.
No. Oh, this is why I said we have like 1 minute here. But this is why I said I'm almost more nervous or stressed rather about the Bayern game because there's more to prove in this game. El Clasico is like the biggest game in the world. Don't get me wrong, but Barca have such a point to prove here because of what happened, the embarrassment last time, and Bayern are looking good. Bayern are looking, they're looking good.
Solid,
so let's see. But a big week in football, guys, and of course we have you covered as always. Remember, stay tuned. Coming up after this, we have Albacete versus Burgos in La Liga Hypermotion. But we will be back again tomorrow. Alex Ashmore and I, Klinton at the Bernabeu. Until then, guys, enjoy the football.
Everywhere.